If you a welder, then you tell them ain't too many of us. They got me mad about the...
Hiya, welcome back to the channel. So what you're looking at is a custom sump off it's like a kit car. And well, as you can see, it has taken some kind of impact. And that's what this video has been. I'm gonna try and fix that. So first, anyway, this is obviously dirty old aluminium because it's the only aluminium that I ever get to weld, but give it a bit of a clean off with some carburation cleaner. Not forgetting this bit because I think it's probably leaking from there as well. And the inside is well, as good as possible, really. So now, as you can see, that is lovely and clean, and we're not quite ready to weld yet because first I need to try and straighten this up, well, as good as reasonably possible. So I'll just get some matte gas. And now hopefully that's got enough heat into it, so I need to turn this over and use the engineering flat surface that we're working on and some specific tools, and I'm just going to hit it downwards like that. And then when you get to the point of fuck it, that'll do, then we turn it back over again, and then we'll get a grinder and we just clean it up a bit more and well, take some eye spots off it and try and make it a little bit neater before we start. So let's do that. And now we've ended up with something like that. So we're pretty much ready. We're pretty much ready to start welding. I've done the same on this one, just to clean it up a bit. Now I haven't gone mad with the cleaning because this being an oil sump, so well, it's going to be impregnated with oil and all that sort of stuff inside the aluminium because aluminium is porous, and that's one of the problems you have when you're welding aluminium. That's in a dirty environment, and that's all I ever get to weld is old crap. So wheels, stuff like that. I've done a video on that in the past, and my way of cleaning that up is honestly with the welder. So what I'll do is I can't really demonstrate because I'm not really going to show any actual welding because one, I ain't got a tripod, and two, I'm not equipped to show actual welding shots anyway. So what I'll do is I'll set the welder balanced quite far over to the clean side, which is this knob here. If I go any further, then I've just got no power at all because this is only a little small cheap welder, but it does the job. So I'll set it over as far to the clean side as I can with it still actually making a pool, and I'll just keep going over it on low power a few times, bubble the crap out of it, clean it off again with the grinder, and then I'll just keep doing that until no more crap comes out of it. That's the way I usually do it anyway, so let's just get on with that. And now I'm pretty much ready to start welding. I've got my rod, which is a 4043, just a generic, well, all-use rod sort of thing. The welder could do with a new ceramic on it, but I've not got any, so it'll have to do as it is. And I'm probably not going to use the rod for a bit because I'm going to be burning the crap out of it to start with. So let's try and do that, and I'll try and show you an idea of what I'm doing, but it's probably going to show nothing. Yes. So as you can see there, we have a right mess of a weld. Now don't worry about that because I'm going to sort that out. All this shit that's bubbled out the weld is bubbled to the top because I kept the welder going whilst it was bubbling out, if that makes sense. I might have to do it a few times, but what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to fill the rest of this in first, and I'll take a grinder to it, take off the crap, and then, well, we'll put another pass on it. So let's get on with it. And now, a bit more welding later, we're ready to grind it down again. So I'll do this off camera anyway, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grind all this flat, and I'm going to grind through all these bits here where, well, that's basically oil, where oil's entered the weld, which is not what you want. So like I said, the easiest way I find to clean it is when it's something like this, where it's a sump or something like that, you're never going to get rid of it all, so it's easier just to burn it off. So probably bad practice, but that's the way I usually do it. And now, a bit of grinding later, we can see that we've got an inclusion there, and other than that it doesn't look too bad actually. So I'm going to put another pass of weld over it, taking close attention to that bit there, making sure it welds nicely and doesn't blow any more oil into it. So anyway, I'm going to do a bit more welding and I'll come back when I've done it because like I can't really show you that well anyway. Yes. So now, as you can see, I've added more weld to the general area, and it's not going to be the neatest weld in the world. I mean, it's a weld, then another weld, then another weld, and then another weld. And it is, like I say, I'm welding old aluminium, and I'm trying to burn crap out of it as I go. So if you're doing this, don't expect to get like these weld porn that you see on Instagram and what have you. So this bit, I'd say I'm happy with that. It's not beautiful, but that shouldn't leak. I think I've got a little bit here that I need to just make sure that's not leaking, or it's not a crack, which I'll find out as soon as I put a torch on it. So I'm going to do that now. Yes. So yeah, it wasn't a crack, it was just, I wanted to make sure, so I've welded that bit as well. And I've just added a bit here as well because the edge of it looked a bit dirty than what I'd liked it to be. So next, you can weld the inside. Now on this one, it's not great to get at on the inside, and it's still got oil in it, and if you've done a good enough job on the outside, you shouldn't need to weld the inside. So now anyway, this one here, I am just going to fill that up with weld and then grind it back to shape. And so far, we've got something like this. So I filled it up with weld, got a bubble weld going in it. There were loads of oil and contamination in it, so I had to grind it back again, then do it again, and end up with basically a lump in the middle, which now I've just welded around to make it flush to the rest of the sump, or as flush as it, I'd say, needs to be. And now I'm going to grind that off again, and I'm just going to finish it off and cap over it. So yeah, as I said, I've ground it off again, and now I'm hoping that I've got nice metal here and nice metal here, so I can weld around the, I don't know if you noticed before, but it had a lot of black around the weld where it was still getting contaminants and shit out of the metal. And that is a recipe for an inclusion where you're going to get a leak. So that's the last thing that you want. You don't want a dirty weld. Like on this one, I've gone over it a few times until I can get it so it's welding somewhat clean, and this is what I've done with this one the same way. So now, like I say, I'm going to weld around here and just make sure that this is all basically fusing together nicely and it's not sort of repelling itself as it's welding, which anyone who's welded aluminium will know what I mean by that, I think. So yeah, I'm going to weld around here and then I'm going to call it done, I think. So I'll show you what it looks like in a minute. Yes. So I've welded all the way around that bit, as I said I would do, and as you can see it looks a right mess now because I thought I'll just go over the centre of it and make sure that it's a good, nice, thick bit of metal with no, well, contaminants or oil or anything like that. And it just exploded because there was oil behind it and, well, there was oil trapped in it, as I suspected there was, because of the way it was welding before, and that's why I did it. So anyway, now I'm just gonna... And so as you can see there, as soon as I put some heat on that and it gets hot, there is oil that comes out of it. So I'm gonna have to keep on doing this until no more oil comes out of it, and then re-grind it and, well, cap over it again. So I'm just going to do that off camera. I'll show you what the finished results looks like in a minute. And, well, this is us pretty much done. That was way harder to sort out than that was, because there was a bit of a screw up. Now this has only happened to me once before, but what were happening is there was oil trapped probably between the metal that I'd added and the old metal, and then when it was getting hot it was just coming out and it were never stopping. So what I ended up doing was I just ended up running a big drill bit through it and then just building it back up again. And this is what this is what we've got here now. So I need to make sure it doesn't leak, but, well, I'll go wait for it to cool down before putting any water in it, because, well, don't throw water in it to make sure it doesn't leak when it's still hot, because you can fuck it back up again. And so anyway, I think that's all for this one. I look forward to the comments saying what I've done wrong and what have you. So anyway, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the usual shit, and I'll see you next time.